destroyed so many lives indirectly. You know what a pandemic was. Such thing. I could have handled the job loss, losing my house, losing my car, losing my dog. I still had my wife until the moment I lost my wife. It's hard. I think of her every day still. I miss her so much. And it's so difficult to, move on.
This kind of content and share to my viewers the story of an ordinary man who's got very extraordinary. The first time I entered this room, I saw the frame. I saw the frame of your wife. That's the first thing I saw. How are you doing?
I've been a little over 9 months, and I think of her every day still. I miss her so much. Everybody's saying to move on, and then I have to move on, and even her family, her brothers. She was my world. I loved her. Maria was a very special woman.
Still have mission.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. In America, I was raised with this very lovely notion of the grieving loved one, passing away just a few days, few hours later, just living, giving up the spirit. Within just a few days, they pass also. And that's what I, wanted. But circumstances and things and people didn't allow that. But, it's hard to start over. It's hard to start back at scratch and try to, move forward again. Yeah, exactly. It's I still find myself, it seems like a dream, a nightmare.
Yes.
It doesn't seem real at times.
How did you process the pain?
Trying just to forget, numb myself. I don't know how I'm processing it. I shared with you before that, when I was in law enforcement, I would I was always taken back by the pure raw emotions that I would see, the explosion of raw emotions. And my mother died when I was 15, and I think I was numb to the whole thing, and I guess that's what I expected. This, if I ever lost my wife or whatever, I expected that what it would have been like, and it's been the complete opposite. I never had a particularly close relationship with my mom, so maybe that's why. With Maria now, it's completely out there, for the world to see.
If I may ask you, based on what you're telling me, when your wife was infected with the virus, you knew it's coming.
We had worked on in a house where do a little business there, and we just thought it was the dust.
What were the symptoms?
I was just coughing. She was fine. I was coughing and not feeling well. I went to bed 4 or 5 days later and began to come out of it. Her mom was taking care of her. She was taking medicine and stuff like that.
Did she became weak?
I wasn't really aware.
You guys went to the doctor?
Yeah, I don't really know. I really was not awake during that time.
Mm-hmm.
I came out, I was in what they call delirium, which, is just like a half awake, half not, dream-ish crazy that I just don't really have the greatest recollection of that time. I remember them telling me that, she had died, and then, when she passed away, I was resting. I remember feeling her, sit down and touch my leg. Obviously, her spirit had visited me right after she left. I have a clear remembrance of her, touching my leg and holding me as I was sleeping. And then soon after that, her mom came and woke me up and said that Maria had passed. It's just been, I don't think 9 months is enough time to put everything that happened into some sort of order. It's hard to process it still.
So there was never any goodbyes being said?
No, that's what I hate. I never get to say goodbye. Things that husbands want to say to their wives, and I just never had any of that. It's just hard.
When was the time, Joe, the passing of her life finally sink in?
I think
come to terms of acceptance.
You got to remember that a lot of people were passing away during that time. Hassan, extremely hard there for a few weeks. Many funerals happening within the course of before and after Maria's passing. Some believe it wasn't, some want to believe it wasn't COVID, because there's a stigma.
So many
there's a stigma, there's a stigma to having COVID. There's still today a stigma of having COVID, and that's very different in how the Americans, how I and many of my countrymen see it, which I'm glad to see there's not so much of that in the Philippines.
How did your love story start?
Well, I remember clearly. We met online and on a dating app, a free dating app, and I noticed something. I asked her, something that I don't want to share. I asked her a question, and we're both very open-minded people.
You feel the magic then?
Oh yeah, it was almost love at first sight. See, I was teaching in China, and we chatted for several days, and I said, well, how about if I fly to Cebu and I meet you in Cebu?
What was the year?
What was the year? That was 12 years ago. So about 5 days after we had first talked on the internet, and but yeah, very sweet. And went over. She came over and she met me. And what really won my heart was she's not a wealthy girl. Her father had worked, but she brought me Jollibee for breakfast.
It's Pinoy comfort food, so to speak. That was
to the rim. Yeah, exactly. I was just impressed that a Filipino with limited money, limited funds, would just buy me, breakfast. Usually it's the other way around. You meet someone and they, oh, I'm hungry, and they're giving you hints that they want to go out and have breakfast.
Yes.
And just in case that she didn't ask me for breakfast, she brought me breakfast. As foreigners, sometimes, we wonder, does the person love me for me, or do they just love me for what I can provide? And I just instantly saw in that moment that she brought me Jollibee, that it didn't matter, to her, she was willing to share whatever she had with someone that she liked. Her beauty and everything else, the Jollibee sealed the deal. And that just made the impression that sealed the deal. But yeah, and then she offered me to come back and meet her mom. And I tell you a cute story with that is, I said, there's one place I can't go to. It's the island of Mindanao.
Prior to coming to Mindanao, you hear the insurgencies,
Oh yeah, I would have thought this whole place would have just been a shooting gallery. But kind of didn't believe that, because I have been in war zones before, and I was raised in a small coastal town.
Where was that?
New Smyrna Beach, Florida. And I grew up there. I always wanted to be a lawman. I always wanted to be a cop. Big sisters. I was the baby brother. But my mother passed away. My father was somewhat out of the picture. I was either like 14 or 15. And 17, I joined the military.
So you're really a self-made guy.
Oh yeah, I should have by every extent been a wild boy, got into trouble.
But you don't kick so many ass.
No. I was always a gentle giant. I fighting. I still did.
Violence.
Yeah. I'm not a violent person. I despise bullies. You have to stand up to bullies. As a lawman, the few times I was put into a situation where I had my gun out, pointing it at a suspect, no one said they would notice, but I felt like my leg was always like on a shake right off its and fall off, you know.
But you don't have panic attack?
No, I mean, you couldn't tell, but I'm not a super brave guy.
Yes.
And I just found out that this place was nothing like, you know, the media and everybody had made it out to be. It's actually very peaceful, wonderful place. And we traveled, you know, we traveled to Southeast Asia. Well, I took her to Hong Kong and Macau. Then we went to Thailand, Cambodia, and Vietnam.
The last destination, what particular country?
We went to America. I'm very grateful that I got to have her meet my sisters. They adored her old life in America. And we went there for almost 2 weeks.
Do you believe in premonitions?
Not really.
Is there a sign?
I mean, we had always talked about that I was going to pass away. That's what I wanted. That's what I thought. You can never take your loved one for granted. I mean, I tried to be a loving husband. I failed from time to time, like all husbands do. In China, when we lived in China, all she had to care for was just myself. She really had her freedom, and we had a wonderful life and exploring and had a very relaxing, wonderful life. And of course, we came here with the intentions for just 3 weeks over Chinese New Year, and that was 2020 of January 2020. And then I had a bike accident. China was debating if they were going to close its borders. By the time I recovered, China had already closed its borders, which then I lost my job, lost my house, lost my dog, lost all my belongings. But I always said I had the most important thing. I still had my wife. And I was stuck in paradise with a beautiful woman. And then I lost her. And I think that's just the hardest thing is now I'm here and, you know, this loneliness and an adjustment. And you know, if I am going to restart my life, do I want to have young where they don't have a lot of life experience? Maybe choose someone who's closer to my age. And Maria was 9 years younger than me. Yeah, it's just trying to adjust and trying to figure out what exactly I'm going to do. And the truth is, you know, I believe in you're supposed to be close to your loved one for a year, you know, before you move on. She was already cremated, but they didn't want to inter her in the above ground cemeteries here. We had the official ceremony, and I mean, we had all like the pre-ceremonies, all the religious requirements were done.
With her urn?
Yeah. But actually putting her, putting her away in, her final resting space. I hate that I cannot be there very long. I always want to go there and stay there. I'm going to go there and I'm going to stay there 2 hours and just talk to her. And I just become so emotional. And it's just so heartbreaking. It's just about accepting. I mean, she's in a better place. She's happy. She's, on the spiritual plane. Now, I know that she would not want me to be in so much grief. I have to somehow deal with it and make it, not so much for myself, but for her.
Did you have any hatred about the word itself?
Trying to have some sort of balance, such things. It's taken so many lives directly and has destroyed so many lives indirectly. Okay, this is my American perspective. Zombie apocalypse, and everybody gets the virus and you instantly change and your world is, and I think people thought that really that's what a pandemic was. It's nothing like that in reality. I mean, pandemics are generally slow burning. I expect this virus to be around a few more years. Bad things can happen. Viruses have ravaged our world many times. I could have handled the job loss, losing my house, losing my car, losing my dog, losing all my possessions, all my pictures everything I had, my police badges, my college degree is all gone. It was all in China. I have no idea. you know, and I lost all those things. And I just thought, well, that was the worst that was going to happen.
It was the worst episode of your life.
Yeah, until the moment I lost my wife. Pandemics and that type of stuff is just like maybe the world trying to balance itself, population control and various things. The Filipinos are much healthier in some ways than Americans. Here you don't have all the luxury that we have in the States, because you guys are some of the most meek people in the world. Yeah, and some of the kindest and most loving in the world, and some of the strongest people, I really, I'm glad I was here during this time, and I can't imagine what it had been like, being in other places where people were not as warm and compassionate.
What do you like most about Filipinos and our country itself?
I mean, your country is just outstandingly beautiful. I like the combination of the Asian food and the Hispanic food, how it has collided together. I've never had food like the Philippines.
Wow.
The food is just, I think, almost the perfect blend of the two, of the Asian and the thing. The only downside is I don't eat rice so much.
Some husbands, some men out there are taking for granted their women.
Yeah. It troubles me sometimes. I do see how men treat women here. I believe that's one thing that made me and Maria so successful. We had complete and utter sex. We talked about what we liked, what we didn't like. We complimented each other, and we just had communication and dialogue. That's the other thing I would just recommend to your viewers, to your male viewers, is just open up to your wife. And I think they're difficult sometimes, about things, because
they're not used to.
Yeah, exactly. It's not in the culture here, It's sad, It's sad how so many broken hearts are, It's just for me, I would prefer, because my first marriage, when I was married the first time, I was a lawman. I wasn't faithful. Well, because of the type of work I was doing, and I was trying to fulfill myself in some way. When I left that marriage and I met Maria, I decided that I was never going to ever lie to her. I'd rather be honest to her and have her accept me for who I am than to have to lie. And what was nice was she felt the same. So I think this honesty is truly the best policy, but both sides have to be open to that.
What best of advice?
The most important thing is just to spend as much time, joy time together. The individual, the husband or the wife, you have to go out and enjoy life. And I always heard that, go out and enjoy life because you don't know about tomorrow. But you end up thinking in your head like, oh, I'm fine tomorrow. I nothing's bad gonna happen. I'm not gonna lose my wife. She's here with me forever. And that's what I thought. I thought me and Maria were gonna die old together, and nothing was ever gonna take her away. And I just could not foresee that happening. It just was never going to happen until it happened. And I think as humans, we live in this land of denial. Sometimes you have to bring it. You just have to go out. Maybe not go out for a week, but go out for one night.
For one particular quality time.
Yeah, exactly. Make time with the one you love. Yeah, we loved each other very much. We just didn't want to spend as much time around each other. I wish now that I would have done it differently. I wish now I would have just spent more time with her and dragged her away to a cheap hotel for 2 days and had a little romance.
It sounds so sweet.
When life is taken suddenly, without warning, the pain is just tremendous. And I feel for myself because for 12 years, I never felt happy or as happy, as content as when I was with Maria.
The moment she...
Yeah, the moment she spent with me. And now, I just have this great empty space that, is gone. And it's so difficult to move on. I pray every night that she would visit me in my dreams. I would just love to tell her that I love her. I miss her. Anything that, maybe I have final words for her. Mistakes I've made. I wish I could just tell her how much she meant to me. I would just love to see her again. I miss her being around. I miss her spirit. She was such a beautiful, sweet woman. Such a tender, loving, caring woman. A year from now, let's see, how life goes on. I may have someone. I might have restarted my life. I might be in a better place. I might be in a worse place.
You can't really dictate the destiny.
Oh, no. It's really nice.
You take care.
I will, my friend.
Get connected with me any time of the day.
Because, making friends is what eventually brings you happiness.
Keep on going, buddy. Tongue twister. Can challenge him. 10 times of balay na ibay iba. Go, Joe!
Balay na ibang iba. 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 That's why I did it. Oh my.